The Gorecast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the station of decapitation without your head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Hello, go. Oh, fuck. We're all.
Yeah, you're
all over one
way
side.
over.
Okay. What's going on? Move this over a bit more.
Okay, there we are. We're about
Now we're here. Hello, everyone. On National
Drink Day!
It's Jesus is a zombie day, actually.
Yeah, but it's a siege in Limerick, therefore it's a National Drink Day.
Okay. While I share this out a little bit more, tell us a little bit about the siege and all of the magical things you've seen.
The siege is the reason why my throat is kind of like ripped up, because I've been like screaming and singing for the last 4 or 5 hours. Basically, the siege is organised by this group in Ireland. Something just smashed inside in the kitchen.
My girlfriend just died.
Okay. The siege is basically this thing that's organised by a group in Ireland called Bad Reputation, whereby they get bands from around Ireland and around England actually this year, and they bring them all together in a pub in Limerick called Dolan's, and it's basically metal music from 12 o'clock in the day until they kick everybody out late at night. And normally I would be there for the entire night, but I decided to give it up and come here and do a show with ye. But unfortunately, as I said,
Hello, Trinity Castle.
my throat's in bits and I can't really... Trinity Castle?
It's right there, my friend.
Oh, look at that! We got an entire castle saying hello to us.
Actually, also,
Hello, Trinity
we're
Castle.
about like a couple of minutes into the show, and Google Chrome hasn't ass-kicked us off and me having to restart.
You had to
yet.
fucking say it, didn't you?
It's still okay.
It's gonna go fucking pear-shaped eventually.
It'll be fine. Continue.
Oh, I'm going to
Continue. Tell them about the ravaging metal that's in...
Oh my god, there's so much metal. I mean, you're talking about like metal from 12 o'clock in the day until whatever time they kick us out at like 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I would have been there the entire day. I really would have, because it's fucking awesome. But unfortunately, I had to come here and do the show. But yeah.
Unfortunately, excuse me.
What?
Unfortunately?
Well, to be fair, as much as I enjoy doing the show,
Because
when
the
you
show's
put
fun.
when you put it against a full-on, like, approximately 13-hour drinking and smoking binge surrounded by metal music and people that are somewhat akin to myself in an environment that is relaxing specifically for someone of my mental capacity, then coming here after...
I've been drinking coffee, smoking myself, and watching a fuck ton of horror movies, because that's what I was built to do.
I've been drinking beer for 2 days straight.
You sound like it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not ordinarily that you have a deeper voice than me.
I know. Oh, am I very well aware. I can feel it. Are you kidding? It actually feels like there was a party in my...
feel it in my fingers.
Dude, it feels like there was a party in my...
it in my throat.
It feels like there was a party in my throat and everyone decided to use... You know those claws you use for climbing trees?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all use them.
That doesn't sound nice at all.
No, not really.
That doesn't sound nice at all. Okay, so I'll keep talking for one more second. I'll just share out one more thing.
On to this week's actual show.
Yeah.
For those of you that were tuned in a couple of weeks ago, you may have noticed that we did Season 1 and Season 2 of a fucking fantastic show called Masters of Horror that was created by Mick Garris.
Hello, Katie McNeil.
Go on, Katie. How are we getting on?
Giz doesn't read the messages, Katie, which is why
he has to let me know about this stuff.
I also didn't notice Giz there. I just saw a hey, and I didn't realize.
I sent around the link for the show from Instagram.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you for joining.
I nearly said following, but that's assumption because I don't know if she followed. Thank you for
Sure,
joining
it's
us.
just- Anyway, as I was saying, Mick Garris basically created the show called Masters of Horror, wherein he got a bunch of directors, sat them down for dinner one night.
Well, Mick Garris technically, we don't need to get into this too much because we got into it for 2 seasons, but Mick Garris technically invented a dinner with a load
that's
of
what I was saying.
horror heads.
Yeah.
And then
He invited a bunch of horror directors.
technically Guillermo del Toro
He invited a bunch
coined
of
the name.
He invited a bunch of horror directors out for dinner. Guillermo del Toro turned around to someone, wished them a happy birthday, and said, "Happy
Which is, if
birthday
you've never
from
been out to
Master-"
dinner with a bunch of horror directors, by the way, it's great crack. Not the
Uh,
depressing bloodfest you'd expect. It's usually it's quite fun.
Hello, whoever said a bloodfest had to be depressing. Jesus Christ, it's quite the fucking opposite, to be perfectly honest.
I'm running on the
Oh
assumption
my
of
God, how much alcohol have I drank in the last 3 days?
it would appear quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about asking out Laurie Strode. Thoughts?
Go for it.
Good. It's a good idea because basically, out of all the horror ladies, you'll get a good 30, 40 years out of her, which is a lot more running time than most of the horror lady franchises.
Not really, there's always up and comers.
Yeah, but they don't run 40 years. I mean, like, if you're looking for a long-term horror, if you're looking for a long-term scream queen relationship, I feel Laurie Strode would probably be the way to go. Do you know? Because Texas Chainsaw Massacre girl was gone by 2. You know. Now, if you're looking for a quick fling, Scream. Oh, actually, Neve Campbell. I can't remember her name. Brittany. No,
In Scream?
in Scream.
Yeah, no.
I only watched it last night. Crap.
I never could get into the Scream films.
That was an odd but nice question. Ben Tramer. Thank you very much. Anyway, Masters of Horror we were doing. And then we took a break because we had some actual new movies in to
Yeah.
review, which we did.
And
And then there's a third series. Well,
yeah.
it's not technically a third series of Masters
Except
of Horror.
it is.
Except it is technically a third series of Masters of Horror.
Basically, they were commissioned to do a 3rd season, but rather than calling it Master of Horror Season 3, they decided to call it Fear Itself. And so they gave it a whole new title sequence, and
I swear to God, I think the only reason they changed the name was because there's ad breaks now.
there was always outbreaks.
No, there wasn't ad breaks. They ran straight.
Are you sure it wasn't just the versions that we had?
No, 100%. You never read any of my articles. It was in one of the articles.
Right.
They got full.
You're right. Unfortunately, I don't read any of
Yeah.
the articles. But the makeup of each
It
episode.
hurts my feelings because
I don't even realise you have the articles written until I'm down here to do the show and you tell me you've written an article.
for anyone who doesn't know,
He writes
including
articles.
Giz, articles go up on a Saturday, and the show's on a Sunday.
What am I often doing on a Saturday? To be
Watching
fair,
cartoons. It's Saturday.
okay, I accept that one. However, usually I watch cartoons Monday to Friday, and Saturday I'm trying to cram in whatever horror stuff we need done.
Why would you not just? We'll get back to the show in a minute. Why would you not just watch some horror movies, then watch some cartoons, then
Sure.
the following day watch another 1 or 2 of the horror movies, and then go back to your cartoons?
An excellent plan, and one in which that I actually properly 100% try to follow. But it never ends up that way, and you're going to end up...
Fail would be the word I'd use.
I would never use the word fail. I
Did
just say,
you try and not succeed?
Nope. Did I end up getting all the material watched before I come down here for a show?
You do predominantly.
Well then, it's not a failure. It is merely a misplacement of time management skills.
Okay. I'm actually not going to argue with you
Thanks
because
to the gods.
because you're actually really hard to argue with when you're drunk.
I'm not drunk anymore.
Um,
I'm
So
back to
anyway-
being merry.
Fear itself was the 3rd season of Masters of Horror,
Mm.
and it basically, unfortunately, flopped on its arse for. Well, it's
I think that it was just a case of, because the name was changed and everything like that, they assumed that it wouldn't get the notoriety that the first 2 seasons did, and so as a result, you hear the name Fear Itself, you don't think it's the same thing as the first 2
Yeah.
seasons that you heard, perhaps viewership dropped off.
this is where the articles come back to bite you in the arse a little bit. So
Probably.
basically, one of the main reasons Fear itself took a major hit was it wasn't really released during the horror season kind of time anyway, which is it's a standalone kind of thing, so that's not a bad thing. But it was also released a week before the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, and was on a TV network that was predominantly airing all of them. So it was kind of like the couple of hours break in between events. An episode of Fear itself would be on at 9 o'clock at night. So it kind of got lost in translation through the series. And regretfully, only 8 of the episodes of the 13 actually ever aired.
Yeah, which is annoying because number 9...
But I also feel they just didn't seem to have the same faith in it. I do agree with you to a certain extent. Like, for instance, when we were setting up for the show today, we were like, okay, we'll just download the trailers now for the movies, to realise that, unlike Masters of Horror, there were no trailers for the movies.
Yeah.
They were just... and it was a bit disappointing. Because it made it feel real cinematic and everything, whereas it was just hashed out as TV. I think they kind of removed a little bit of the Hollywood out of it, to a certain extent.
Yeah...
That'd be where I feel it fell, and it's
this series is one of those weird ones whereby the box set is probably going to do far more. It's going to do far better than the original broadcasting of it, purely because, as you said, last 4 or 5 episodes weren't actually aired. And what's worse,
it would have been 5. Yeah.
And what's worse is episode 9 is one of the funniest fucking episodes in the entire season. Where, like, if there was any episode that was going to get people kind of going, oh yeah, that was good, you know, in a kind of not an overly horror fan kind of way.
Yes, there were. For someone who wouldn't be a big horror fan but likes a little bit of a, there'd be a very good step toe into liking some real horror. And bar 1 or 2 episodes, 1 or 2 of them now were.
As I said,
which are probably
episode 9.
All of the 1 or 2s would be in our top 3.
As I said, episode 9 was one. Episode 9 would be in our top fucking tier as well. But as I said, that was one of those ones whereby it was the nice little easygoing kind of, you know, I can watch this, but at the same time it's kind of a bit of comedy and there's a bit of a laugh being had. So, you know, I can ease myself into the horror aspect of the fact that this guy's a werewolf. You know, that kind of... But unfortunately, it was one of the episodes that didn't air. And
but we'll get into that in a while, because I think that's probably going to be our number 1.
Well, I don't know about that, but it'll be fucking close.
I really like the twist in that.
Mm.
I was like, twist. The ending of it. We'll get into that in a while, but there's a real good twist in it, and I was super impressed with it anyway. I don't know about you. You obviously weren't, because you were just like, bleh.
No. I didn't think there was a twist. A twist implies something that I didn't see coming. I saw that coming from 3 fucking cities away. So, not exactly a twist.
Okay, fair enough.
If we're thinking about the same fucking thing. We'll get to it when we talk about
the ending.
Episode. Yeah.
Yeah, with the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on about the same thing. I hadn't seen that in another horror movie.
Whoever said anything about seeing it in another, it's the most logical thing that's going to happen. Just because you haven't seen it in another film doesn't make it a twist if it's logically going to occur.
Right.
We'll get to it in a while, but logic.
Okay.
What would you do if you were him?
Who were you on about?
Episode 9.
I know what you're on about. What would I do if I was him?
Yeah.
Who the hell are you on about?
The fucking veterinarian.
That's not the twist I'm on about.
The fuck are you on about?
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it when we get to it. Because
Okay.
I'm curious now.
Fuck. I really didn't
You know
want
what? What? Hang on. We'll get to it when we get to it.
I really didn't want to have to give away the twist. I even tiptoed around it in the article.
Forget about it, right? Let's just start off with episode 1, Fear Itself, The Sacrifice. Which is, to be perfectly honest, a fantastic take on the vampire myth.
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought super original, shot awesomely. There's a girl
from Supernatural.
Yeah, Meg from Supernatural, who's also the kinky secretary from Californication, who I had a man crush on since Californication.
I've seen her in a couple other bits and pieces, but I've always had Meg's nice.
I don't think I'd have word him. Yeah, I know, it's actually a strange studio audience. It's true.
The Gorecast is filmed in front of a live studio audience, for those that hadn't figured it out yet.
You should drink all the time.
No,
for anything
I should not.
No, because you're really hard to deal with when you're drunk. You're a lot more argumentative. But your voice is so more radio now.
That's because it's been torn out through excessive alcohol and or smoking.
Yeah, but most people lose their voice. They don't like. It's not. It's like your balls have dropped again.
Phoebe got her. Remember when she got a cold?
Smelly cat.
Yeah,
Yeah. It is. It's like when Phoebe got the cold.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Friends.
in the
She
sacrifice.
sounded like Alanis Morissette.
Oh, good grief! And isn't it ironic?
Cat, smelly
Oh, isn't
cat.
that ironic?
What are they feeding you?
Anyway, to the story. These 4 boyos, 2 of them brothers,
It's not your fault.
have apparently done something they probably shouldn't have done, which, you know, it's not explained, but it's clearly...
Yeah, from the minute you meet them in their truck, they're not.
I reckon they're after robbing a bank or a post office or something.
I'd say they were probably actually hunting somewhere, but it's somewhere they're not supposed to be fucking hunting.
No, man.
No. Or maybe they're out in the lake with grenades.
That one boyo had a good... That one boyo was fucking sliced up the fucking midriff. And their piss poor excuse was that they were rafting and he got a branch in his chest and, you know, it tore him up. That was a blade or something. I was actually expecting her to pull out a bullet, to be perfectly honest, except that the wound was clearly more of a... It was far too jagged to be a bullet hole, to be perfectly honest. But anyway.
Okay, so what bank robbery scenario, I have to ask this, what bank robbery scenario do you have that went so badly that your man got, what are we saying, slashed with a sword?
No, a knife.
A knife. Okay.
I don't know. They're the arse in the nowhere and they're America.
Yeah, I'll actually, no, you don't need to go, I'll accept that. Yeah, that's fine. That's
Anyway,
fine.
point is, these 4 lads come across this, what appears to be this...
Encampment.
Yeah, this wooden encampment in the middle of the god's arse end of nowhere.
If you've seen Vikings, think Vikings.
Yeah!
Yeah.
It's like clearly wooden
Except substitute
stockade.
the Vikings with old school Romanians.
Dude, they were blonde, had blue eyes and could probably kill people in their sleep.
What's that got to do with
Vikings,
What?
blue-eyed and probably kill people in their
Yes,
sleep.
true. No, I'm not disputing that all of the ladies looked Viking-esque, but in the actual,
I know, they were all
story of
Romanian.
the storyline,
Actually,
they were from
they were
Romania.
Romanian.
The most un-Romanian looking women ever.
Yeah, actually.
Not a lot of blondes.
Yeah.
Not,
So anyway, the stockade, as I said, is manned by these 3 women who are descendants of Romanians who came hundreds of years ago to America, only to realize that they had something amongst them that they didn't want getting out in the public. So as a result, they decided to build this fortification and dedicate their lives to maintaining this creature's existence, in so much as they keep it fed, it doesn't go out and rampage the whole fucking planet. Which is a very good idea when you're dealing with what is obviously a strigoi, or vampire, as we like to call them. And so as a result, you get this really...
That's nice. I like that.
The vampire.
The vampire.
Vampires. I liked how they moved the story along. The first time that you realise something is up is when they're taking care of the guy who got...
I really can't get over your voice, man. It's ridiculous. Sorry. it's why I'm not looking at you in the face. I'm like, what is it? It's like there's a different guy.
Anyway.
Sorry. Yeah, anyway, vampires. There's a guy in the place. That's where I stopped you.
One of the lads, like I was saying a few minutes ago, has a chest wound. It's getting sewn up by the chick that played Meg in Supernatural.
Fucking roughly, by the way, I'd like to add.
Well, there's no real easy way of doing it when you're in a compound that's basically cut itself off from the rest of civilization for the last 200 years.
She was down on him like a...
I was impressed.
What?
I was impressed that she was speaking something that could be registered as modern day English, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of loopholes in some of these that just... Do you know where, as you and I were watching through the series, we were like, oh, it's a little bit rushed here and a little bit rushed there. It's where some of these films could have done with the 20 minutes extra, do you know?
But at the same time, there's other ones and you're glad they were only the hour long.
That's true. I wasn't overly dismayed with anything in this.
There was a couple of them, and all I was thinking was, the hour was grand. If it had gone any longer, it would have been too fucking slow, or the pace would have been too drawn out, or whatever.
That's true.
The sacrifice was not one of those cases, however, because the hour suited it perfectly.
Yeah.
You get invested just enough in the characters that when shit goes horribly sideways, you feel for one of the characters, I guess.
Also because even though there's only one vampire on call, he is such a massive, terrifying son of a bitch.
It's proper Stakeland vampire.
Yeah, so there's a lot of storyline, and then once shit starts getting killed, it fucking happens hard and it happens fast.
Yeah, and in such a way that...
and airborne.
in such a way that you're led to believe that maybe things are going this way, but no, they're actually over here and everyone's fucked.
You think it's going to be a little bit way, but it's actually a little bit whoa.
Whoa!
Yeah.
So,
This over here.
yeah, that was a sacrifice. As I said, a really good vampire tale. A nice little microcosm of how one would handle a absolute killing machine and make sure that it doesn't get into the vast public.
Yeah.
Next up is Spooked.
Spooked. I liked Spooked.
So did I, because it was basically the ghost story and kind of given a few steroids and let loose on a character that you don't necessarily have to feel anything for, because
he's a bit of a dick.
Yeah, as the four,
Bit of a dick. He's a lovable dick.
Yeah,
but he's a bit of a dick.
As the story unfolds, you kind of realize, you know what, that cop that used to beat the shit out of suspects because he knew there was something worth fucking getting out of him. Well, you know, maybe it turns out that he's actually just a bit of a sadistic bastard, and the only reason he wasn't shooting people the whole time is because, well, childhood trauma, and he didn't want to go holding up a gun. So instead, he's going to do everything else that he possibly can.
But the punchy and the punchy and the kicky and the kicky
and the burning
and the burning,
like
and general torturiness.
Yeah, anything that you can do to get answers out of a suspect without leaving too obvious a mark, I suppose, or without leaving anything that they can chalk up to a mark, he would have done, which is fine, except that it eventually gets him kicked off the force and relegates him to becoming a private investigator.
Yeah,
and
which he's fucking good at.
Yeah, because he's a snaky.
He has that mentality.
Yeah, he's a snaky bastard.
Plus, we have to mention one of the reasons this character is so fucking good is Eric Roberts, man. Knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. I thought he was great.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think the casting of Eric Roberts is one of the reasons why you don't feel much sympathy for the character.
Yeah, but I don't think you're supposed to feel much sympathy for the character.
You have to.
He's that anti-hero.
The whole notion is that you're supposed to get behind Harry's slow descent into madness caused by the haunted house.
Yeah, but
which
you're
is
also
set upon
like
by
outside of it being Eric Roberts, dude. The script.
He's always a bad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, but it's good casting because the guy, if you look at all the dialogue in the script and the shit that he's done in his backstory, he's the snaky, fucked up dickhead. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And Eric Roberts plays snaky, fucked up dickhead really fucking well.
Yeah. In this case, it's
good casting. Well done.
In this case, he's a sneaky dickhead that it turns out is actually getting fucked over because it was a little bit of a setup. Yeah. The place is a little bit haunted. It turns out that It turns out he may or may not have accidentally, oopsie daisy, killed some motherfucker that was holding a little boy captive for fun once upon a time, a few years back. And it seems that somebody wants to get vengeance on him as a result of that.
It's a weird thing because you kind of don't feel bad for him, but you also don't particularly feel bad for the guy who's done the stuff too either. There's this weird acceptance level where you're actually quite willing to watch anything happen to these people because predominantly most of them are all dicks, bar his assistant who's pretty innocent.
He's a bit of a twat as well.
He's a bit of a twat, but he's an innocent twat.
Yeah,
he's just a hacker type.
The best part about this entire episode, I think, has to be watching the character Harry Siegel's slow descent into a burgeoning madness, whereby he's not quite sure if he's hallucinating stuff or if there's actually things happening, such as people appearing mysteriously in the house that he's supposed to be watching, voices being heard in the house that he's holed up in while watching this house, all sorts of other hallucinatory, fictitious imaginings. And the big question is he tripping balls, or is he actually the genuine victim of a 100% vengeful spirit that's coming to haunt his ass? So,
yeah, that's fine. I'm not even going to chip in on that. That was very good.
Yeah, that was Spooked. On to the next episode. And
Family Man.
The next episode, for me personally, a bit of a highlight. Not the best episode you have to understand, but just because you get to see Colin Ferguson being a horrible bastard, which is hilarious because the last time I saw him, and the last time I imagine many people would have seen him, would be the sheriff in A Town Called Eureka, where he is Mr. Nice Guy sheriff character.
He was in a movie on Netflix there recently.
The vast majority of people would have seen him as sheriff character in A Town Called Eureka because that series lasted.
Of people have Netflix. You're in the minority, actually.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Just saying. It's
Was he a
possibility.
horrible bastard in the whatever film you're imagining in Netflix?
It was Stephen King adaptation. He was a farmer. So
Wa- Was he a horrible bastard, or was he like your typical?
He was a typical good dad that then went mental.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
He went that way. Actually, he was burgeoning on that a few times in A Town Called Eureka, but it was that kind of hilarious. Oh, character's gone mental, but it's okay. He's still got the town's best interest in
I really
mind.
enjoyed this. I like when people take the whole Freaky Friday premise and fucking turn it into a horror movie.
Plus, the other guy is in Westworld, and he's in Boondock Saints 2, and he's in a bunch of other
he's in
films.
fucking everything.
Pacific Rim.
He plays angry Mexican dude in a lot of things.
He plays angry Mexican dude in the second Boondock Saints film.
Yeah, and other things.
Actually, Westworld, he was an angry Mexican.
Yeah,
I suppose. He was the angry Mexican, technically.
Yeah, but there you go. The angry Mexican. That says something.
Oh yeah, in Westworld, it fragging well does.
Yes, I do. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Cowboy robots.
Yeah.
Or robot cowboys.
I'm so looking forward to season 2. Robot Samurai.
Robot samurai. Holy fuck!
Here's one better.
Isn't that Ninja Batman?
Not out yet. End of the month.
What's the end of it? I thought it was the end of March.
They've already released a track
Really
from
crap
season
myself
2.
there.
They've already released a track from season 2 of Westworld. It's Roman Juada's version of Heart Shaped Box. It is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Because all his music is awesome. Anyway, getting back to Family Man, as we were saying, Colin Ferguson plays.
Oh, it's just a family man.
Colin Ferguson plays, to be perfectly honest, white collar, happy family man, perfect job, perfect wife, perfect kids. Unfortunately, gets a bit of a slap of a car and ends up perfectly fucking dead. At the exact same time as this full-on hard mental case criminal ends up dying. And
I like the way you said crim there. You sounded very street.
I was thinking fucking 2000 AD for just a split second.
Goddamn crims.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's Clifton
Collins.
Collins.
Richard Bratigan. That's the name of the character that Clifton Collins plays, known as the Family Man, because this guy will go along, whack his own family, whack your family, whack the family down the street.
He likes whacking families.
And then, while doing it, videotape himself doing other stuff to them before he kills them.
Baking.
Yes.
Baking.
Except replace 2 of those letters with other letters. Anyway, as a result, he has a certain reputation. So when, unfortunately, Colin Ferguson wakes up with his mind inside of that of the Family Man Bradigan,
he's delighted.
He is far from it, because he's on motherfucking death row, and no one's willing to believe the fact that he is not this madman.
Yeah.
He is, in fact, Dennis Maloney, and why won't anyone believe it?
Understandably quite hard to buy the story.
What I thought was interesting was when Bradigan, who is in Maloney's body, arrives on, he decides, you know what, you're in jail, I'm going to teach you how to survive in jail, you're going to teach me how to survive out in the real world, and they come to this very uneasy arrangement, which becomes hilarious because you have this complete, utter, 100% fucking predator
Well, it also
watching over a family and then freaking out at what he perceives as being security risks.
like someone taking his parking space.
Or a kid walking off with the other kids because they're friends, but he hasn't twigged it yet.
Yeah, and there was also a really brainiac maneuver in relation to that, which was, if you think about it, he the only kind of way that Dennis could have shown the guards that he wasn't your man was to give info that he shouldn't have had, and by your man visiting so much, they were like, "You've just been getting info, fucking him, so fuck off," basically. And I was like, that was fucking clever.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, real motherfuckers. Like, yeah, sure, you're the guy who comes visit you on a regular basis, you fucking idiot.
Family Man basically takes the
Great
Freaky Friday premise and throws it into a terrifying medium by way of what happens if you swap places with an actual full-blown predator who is now living with your wife and your happy 2.5 kids, and oh dear fucking gods. And then the struggle to try and get back to that and to rearrange things.
Yeah, but it's
and
always
make more.
incredibly hard to get out of someone else's body and back into your own, as you know.
I try to avoid it. Because that's how I get arrested. Anyway.
Right, okay.
Episode number 4 in Fear itself would be In Sickness and in Health. And I'm not going to lie.
I liked it in a I liked it kind of way.
I admit it's the second episode to have a cast member from a town called Eureka in it, but even still,
That doesn't make a good movie.
yeah, I know that's kind of my point.
It was okay. It was a little bit too much. My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding and not enough serial killer would have been.
Basically, the entire notion is that just minutes before a bride is scheduled to say "I do,"
Some weird fella comes in, gives a note
Chick.
some weird chick, that's it. Some weird chick comes in, gives a note to the priest shows up, gives a note to the wife takes a look at the note
No.
and it's like,
gives the note to one of the bridesmaids, which
who
is
gives
what
the note to the
causes,
wife?
which is what causes half the fucking shit, because the bridesmaids, for some unbeknownst reason,
Her bridesmaids are nosy bitches, by the way. I gotta point that out.
sweet baby Jesus, it's like they actually don't have lives of their own, and all they can actually do is leech off of this other woman's existence.
I believe the phrase is "stay in your lane," and then you go or know your role and a similar hand gesture.
Whatever. But in this
Stay in
case,
your
Stay
lane.
in your lane.
That doesn't make any sense, audience. Stay in your lane.
well, in this case, it's keep your fracking nose on.
Sounds like actually, you know, a lady one time.
I was just
Yeah,
about to say
that's-
something similar.
That's what it sounds like.
I was actually just about to say, in this case,
Oh,
it
you
stands
staying in your lane?
in this
Staying in
case,
your
it
lane,
stands for keeping your fucking nose out of other women's fucking pennies, because to be perfectly honest, you don't know what kind of dirt is in there. Or what kind of dirt you imagine might be in there.
Staying in my lane. Staying
But yeah, it all deteriorates rapidly as a husband is accused of various different things that he isn't even aware of, because it's all conjecture. And
Hearsay.
yeah, hearsay, conjecture. It's all paranoia-induced madness that is
I would have hit the table
propagated
like
by
a judge, but it keeps rattling the.
propagated by a church that for some reason no one can close the doors in, so everything rattles the whole fracking time, and it's just
Okay.
I wasn't that impressed with In Sickness and in Health. It was just
If you were in it to critique the horror movies in it, it's not great. As something that you would have just caught for an hour on telly, not terrible.
yeah.
It's acceptable. Like none of these movies are shit. That's the thing. No, they're all good.
Yeah.
They range from good to fucking awesome.
But the problem is, once you're used to being
Masters of Horror, I think, had a
once you're
slightly
used
higher
to-
level. Not majorly. I just
think it's
feel,
only because-
none of them are on the.
No, hang on. I think it's only because there was 2 seasons, therefore we have more episodes to grade on the higher content level than retrospectively looking at season 3, because it looks like it's a different thing because it's called Fear Itself as opposed to season 3 Masters of Horror.
Yeah, but there were still different directors on this lineup. I just feel there was a higher. John Landis is the major player back.
And he was the one that directed the one episode that we were both looking at, kind of going. He directed In Sickness and in Health.
I didn't think it was terrible though. I thought it was.
I didn't think it was
good.
I didn't think it was great, to be perfectly honest.
I just thought. I just felt the reveal of all of the stuff was a little bit too just forced on you at the end. It could have developed a little more naturally.
Yeah,
Would have been my issue. But he's used to shooting shit in the R20 format, so I'd say him losing 20 minutes actually fucking kills him.
I just didn't think it was the best episode.
I get the pain of trying to shoot in a schedule. It's hard sometimes.
Anyway, on to the next episode, Eater, which was all kinds of fucking fun.
Before we go into Eater, I'm going to play a trailer just for season 1 of Masters of Horror in general, and then we're going to go back and talk about Eater. And then I'm going to explain why there's no more trailers. Although we kind of did already explain why there's no more trailers, but regardless, trailer time.
The makers of these frightening films are taking over your television.
I think you're going to like it.
with original 1-hour movies every week. The best storytellers in Hollywood will take you on an edge-of-your-seat thrill ride. Thrill? With a new guest in lockup.
He's an eater. He's killed over 30 people, eventually eating them.
This whole thing is really starting to give me the creeps.
This rookie's first night is gonna be a long one.
Time to eat.
When a twisted PI...
Don't hurt me!
...stakes out a haunted house.
Who's messing with me?
His past will come back.
This is dream.
To torment him.
No! We got the house!
They're moving to the suburbs.
It really is a lovely community.
An old-fashioned neighborhood.
Everybody watches out for each other.
Really old-fashioned.
People are insane.
Kill you? Why would we kill you? You're our neighbor. We just want you to be happy.
4 fugitives. Stranded. In the one place...
He smells the blood.
...where hell has frozen over.
Go!
And this is just a taste of the thrills in this all-new NBC summer series.
Cause there's plenty more where that come from.
You have nothing to fear but fear itself. Thursdays at 10 starting June 5th on NBC.
Sorry,
And we're back.
back.
Apologies for that. I thought that trailer went on a bit longer.
Stuff went away.
What went away?
Stuff. It's alright.
Eater.
Oh man.
What can I say about this?
We spoke a few weeks ago about films involving a Wendigo, most notably Ravenous. Most notably Ravenous, because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And this episode, quite frankly, takes the idea of Wendigo and goes, woof.
Yeah.
Mainly because of the...
I think there's a bit more black magic involved than just...
No, it's the same principle. It's the same premise. It's just that they take it and they let the eccentricity that one might associate with such a deranged character go off the fucking rails. Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong. Robert Carlyle was great as a mad bastard fucking cannibal. But in this, the skin and bones creature that returns from the wilderness after being trapped up the arse end of a fucking mountain for the gods only know how long is just vicious. He is creepy, he is freaky, and to be perfectly honest, he's hilarious because of the way that he interacts with everyone, makes them convinced that he's this weak, frail, can't do anything creature.
My friend, you have yet again mixed Eater up with Skin and Bones.
Ah, cock and balls.
So Eater actually takes place in a police precinct where a new criminal has been brought in.
Shit!
And you
The
are
cute
informed.
blonde!
That's why I was laughing. I was like, I thought you might realise.
No.
Then I was like, no, he's a good minute in now. Takes place in a police precinct where a criminal who has murdered several people, or might have even been double numbers of people.
Oh, he was definitely into the double numbers.
Yeah, he's finally been arrested, and the police sergeant, very early on, sets you up for what you're expecting.
Hank Griffin from Grimm.
Actually, he doesn't even set you up for what you're expecting, because what you're expecting is like Ravenous, whereas you get a lot more than Ravenous in this.
Yeah. This one basically...
It's also why I was trying to hint at you. It's a little more black magic-y than just Wendigo.
Alright, I fucked up.
Okay.
Basically, in this one, the notion of the Wendigo is more like a shaman in that he derives power from the flesh that he eats.
Yeah.
He derives power
and some
from...
freaky fucking chanting.
Yeah, and he uses it to his advantage because in the old ways, there was more than just the devouring of flesh. There was also the channeling
The consuming of one's energies and power.
I was going to say the channeling of life forces to, you know...
Shakara munching.
Okay. Yeah, so...
Chi nibbling.
Yes. Well, redistribution and using it.
Or it
Yeah.
could just be over an abundance of electrolytes into the human flesh.
And now all I have is Family Guy, where that guy comes down, where fucking Patrick Stewart comes down after banging his daughter, saying how he's in need of electrolytes because he left all of his and his daughter.
That's not Family Guy, that's American Dad.
No, it's Family Guy.
With Peter in it?
No. Patrick Stewart is the head of the CIA.
That's American Dad.
What did I say?
Family Guy.
I've been drinking since 12 o'clock today.
We
Fuck
know.
off.
We know.
I either need more alcohol or less. I don't know which. My brain is just at that point. Okay?
Drink your Coke. Take a sip of your Coke, buddy, and we'll just move on.
There's a cute goth girl. She suspects something has gone wrong. Everyone thinks she's crazy. She's not. Stuff is very fucking wrong because they got a genuine black magic using cannibal in their station, and he's slowly but
Who's the cute goth girl? Big Hop?
The blonde chick.
I wouldn't call her. Just because she's got all the tattoos?
And is into horror stuff.
Doesn't mean she's goth.
It's kind of the definition.
Okay, look, that's hair splitting pedantics there.
She's blonde, I accept, but all of her personality traits are goth. Are fucking.
Drink your Coke, buddy.
She likes horror stuff. She's into black magic stuff. I need fucking caffeine.
Block the logo. You just drink it like this.
I got it.
She ends up getting left on with two kind of, you get the impression, practical jokers who want to give her a bit of a ripping, as they would say, because she's the only female cop on the beat and she's the only one on the night shift with them.
Rookie.
While they are waiting for the CIA, or is it, not CIA, for the FBI to come down and grab old Limb Muncher and take him off to some heavy incarceration.
Yeah.
Needless to say, because the two guys that she's with are bumbling idiots, it doesn't take long for your man to absolutely infest the police station.
Yeah, I liked the fact that
he really plays up the skinwalker side of the Wendigo element, and I
That's-
like that. I like it a lot.
mainly because of the predatorial aspect of it. It's
I
fucking.
will pick that up, the bag of potato chips.
It's a handy trick to have.
Yeah, it was fucking good.
I'll eat you and wear
he's
your
got his
skin.
He's got his crazy chanting. He's got his
Which I will never explain.
He's also freakishly massive anyway.
The crazy chanting, well, never explained, I think was deliberately creating a sense of paranoia.
Played by Stephen O'Hart. I think he was great.
I think he was doing a deliberate sense of paranoia, just to ramp things up and make it easier for the cops to be prey.
No, because as he's chanting, you can physically see this spirit and aura moving around the place. So
to create a sense of paranoia, to make his prey easier to handle. Scared prey is easy prey. Tastes better too.
yeah, I don't think that's what the power is. I think it's him just sensing it out, soul walking.
As soon as he started doing that thing, everyone started getting paranoid about shit.
As soon as he started doing that thing, something started going around the police building. Then all of a sudden, people started getting taken over and people started dying.
People started getting taken
The
over
only
down
person-
because someone
the
was
only
stupid
person-
enough to walk into his fucking jail cell.
The only person who got actually paranoid was your one, because she had a valid reason to, because everyone was trying to fucking kill her. Give or take. Give or take. The killer, Dwayne Eater Mealor, or Meller, Mealor, because he's from the Bayou. He's from the name of the place won't come to me. Got hit by a tornado. Mardi Gras.
Orleans.
New Orleans.
Oh.
It was that kind of Louisiana, New Orleans kind of thing. It was all that kind of voodoo magic is what he was into. So, fuck, I forgot what I was saying now. I'm to explain all of that. I did a unit.
Welcome to my world.
What was I saying?
Eater. Voodoo. Put a spell on you.
Yeah, I was played by...
Now you're mine.
is played by Stephen O'Hart, and he's truly terrifying. His makeup's done unreal. His teeth and the fingers and everything was horrible looking.
It really does give the presence of a monster, to be perfectly honest.
And Elizabeth Moss plays Danny Bannerman.
Yeah, she was cute. I like her.
I like Danny Bannerman as a name because it's very sort of like action movie. You know, you can see it as like in a Die Hard kind of, you know, Danny Bannerman woke up today thinking today was going to be a normal day.
But no.
But no, as 1,400 terrorists have invaded the Nakatomi Towers and she alone.
That, dude. One giant cannibal in her station. That's clearly good enough.
Nakatomi 2, Die Hard, bitch.
Die Harder.
No, that was already one.
I know, but never mind.
They'll never do an Nakatomi 2. There's only so many Germans you can kick out in a 100-story building.
Yeah.
Cinematically, anyway.
Yeah, Eater actually does rank up there as being one of the better episodes of this series. Just
hella memorable.
because-
It'll actually creep you the fuck out.
Yeah, the pacing is very, very good in it. There is no point where you're sitting there kind of going, get on with it. No. And believe me, that does happen.
And I'll say it was very like David Lynch-esque in the way the story came out. Like he's able to manipulate your brain as everything's going on, that you're nearly getting mind fucked as much as the people are in it.
Yeah, it does.
Who's who? What's going on? There's a couple of little ticks that let you know who's what, but sometimes those ticks aren't there.
It does get to the point where you're wondering if maybe Bannerman is actually a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and there actually isn't anything going on.
Yeah.
And then you realise, no.
Bannerman's been hitting the old police stash and reading our horror comics.
She's actually on the right ball and they're fucked. They're all fucked. Fuckity fuck.
She handles it like a wizard as well, I'm going to say. Yeah. She handles the situation like a champion.
Yeah.
All right, number
6.
New Year's Day. He is okay.
Considering
I like the premise.
Considering who wrote it, I think I was expecting more. I think it's Scott McNeil that wrote the episode, and if I'm right, he's the guy that wrote 30 Days of Night, which was freaking awesome.
I really enjoyed that. Yeah,
not the film, the comic. The fucking comic was freaking awesome. Just so that we clarify, the film was okay,
so,
but the comic is freaking awesome.
It wasn't terrible. It was okay. It was a bit slow, I thought.
The film,
and yeah, just in places.
Yeah.
Steve Niles wrote.
Steve Niles. Why did I say Scott McNeil?
I don't know.
Because he is a Warhammer writer.
Is he?
I think.
That's awesome.
He's definitely a writer. Steve Niles. Yeah,
Warhammer. What are we looking for?
Go into Steve Niles just to make sure that I'm right that he's the one that wrote 30 Days a Night. I'm 90% positive, but as I said...
He did. That's the first one there.
Yay! Okay, excellent. So I'm not a freaking fucking moron in this one.
You're back on track. High five, bud. Pizza works.
Yeah.
Just takes longer than expected.
Coke, I think, is what worked here.
Oh, Coke will get you over, Anthony.
A cola. I can't use the brown or the white powder.
Oh, Shane Ware's in. Hello, Shane.
Shane, how are we getting on, man?
We got Byrne in.
Hey, Byrne.
I was over watching something else. I'm late. Apologies. Was that my sister?
What?
Oh, she was with her sister.
All right.
Thought she was calling a new sister for a minute. It is American Dad. Thank you for backing me up, Shane.
Oh, wait, no, that means I lost. Shit.
Yeah, we'd clarified that already. He's just merely backing her up. More drink yourself. Sober. That's Burns when you were like, I either need more or less drink, I'd imagine.
There is...
yeah, and then Yeagiz do a shot. He's not allowed shots. They live in my fridge for the moment. He might be rewarded with one at the end of the show.
I left my poutine at home.
I've got other stuff. It's all
Captain
good.
Morgan.
Thank you, audience. Ruin the mystery.
Woohoo!
Ruin the mystery. Anyway,
New Year's Day.
Comments feeds caught up now. Excellent. I feel like we've accomplished something.
Oh crap! What's that?
That's okay.
Okay.
That's an acceptable pop-up.
Okay.
Thank you for being worried and not letting me know though in advance. Good co-host.
So, New Year's Day, written by Steve Niles, who, as I said, wrote 30 Days of Night. So as a result, there was a certain expectation, I suppose, on my part in regards what he would be coming up with. And as a result, for me personally, I kind of felt that the episode was good, but it's back and forth. The way that it kind of goes back and forth into flashbacks and back up. I understand long-term what they were trying to do, but it was kind of annoying because you're like, what's going on? And they're back to this crap, this fucking relationship crap.
It was very confusing in places. I did think the action was quite good. It was shot really, visually, it tied together very well. I just thought the story was very loosey-goosey.
Do you know what it is?
The end was quite nice.
Do you know what it is? It's an episode that while you're watching it, What?
She's laughing at Lucy Goosey.
It's an episode that while you're watching it, you don't think it's that good. But then...
It's a hindsight episode.
When it all comes together at the end, you're like...
Oh yeah, no, the payoff at the end is... The
motherfucker.
payoff at the end is totally worth it.
But it also explains why they were doing the back and forth.
Yeah.
It's not just for the sake of you... It's not just for the sake of story filler, which to be fair is what you assume is actually taking place at the time. But instead it's actually validating all the actions of the characters when you realize exactly what the fuck is going on at the very end of the episode. Because believe you me, you might suspect from the very fucking beginning, but it's never actually proven until the end.
It was very Paul Heyman of you.
Well, that's because we both know that if I'm saying it like that, it's because I fucking knew what the fucking story was from the fucking beginning, and I kind of went, ha! They're doing this. But anyway, it is put together...
Audience, can you turn off the heat?
Oh, yeah.
No. Yeah.
The episode is put together well. As I said, it is a Steve Niles story, so there is obviously going to be more going on than what you think.
Yeah.
Which works into...
It's like an onion.
Yeah.
It's got layers.
Yeah, which works into the kind of flashback stuff, which, as I said, at the time, when you're watching, you're going to be like, ah, fuck's sake.
You started talking so much, we got something to play. We forgot to do the Eater video.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll finish this because we're nearly through New Year's Day now, and then we'll put on the Eater thing.
Pretty much are through New Year's Day. As I said, it's I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to give anything away. Suffice to say that while watching it over the course of the episode, you will feel that it's a slow grind, but
very, very worthwhile payoff.
Yeah, when the ending happens, it's actually, do you know what it is? It's actually a happy ending. I actually legitimately watched the episode, and when it was all said and done, I kind of went, you know what? I feel good about that ending. That was a happy ending.
Yeah. Unrequited love becomes not unrequited.
And it is the third episode to have a cast member from Untitled Chapter.
Yeah, because most of them are in it.
Not in Xander.
What?
There's only one of the actors in that episode is in Untitled Chapter.
There's a lot of them in the series, dude.
3.
Okay, perfect. That's more than any other TV series in there. Yep. Yeah. That's cool. Okay, so that's the end of New Year's Day. I think it just ranked a bit lower with us just because it was a little bit... It's slow. And the story... The story loses you little bits in the middle, I think.
Yeah.
It gets, as you said, it's a little bit too hoppy between
the watchability of the episode is lacking in comparison to the actual payoff of the episode.
Yeah.
I suppose is the best way of putting it. You have to stick it out.
Yeah. If you were watching it on TV and you were like, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't believe there's only 15 minutes left in this. When you get to the 15 minutes left mark, you'll be like, totally worth it.
Yeah, there we go.
Totally worth it. And you'll probably maybe even watch it again if you could. Because you'd be like, okay, I got that. I see what's going on here. Doodly-doo. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, as I explained in our little intro, they don't have promo trailers for the movies like they did with Masters of Horror, for shame. But so instead, which might be a little bit interesting, we might do from other movies, we picked kind of interesting scenes out of the movie that we thought gives you a good little feel for the movie without revealing too much of the storyline. So this is the one from Eater where the guy who is in the cell is having a nap. Or is he having a nap? He's been napping for quite some time. And
some head fucking is
young possible goth or possible not
different
goth.
From skull fucking, head fucking.
Young possible goth and possible not goth officer lady goes in.
She's a goth chick.
To see what'll be happening. Click it.
Wow.
Hey, I ain't so sure you want to be doing that. I'm not sure you want to do that at all.
Where have you been? Didn't you hear me calling you?
If I'd have heard you, I'd have answered.
Excuse me.
And we're back. Okay, so that gives you a little feel for Eater, and then after we did Eater, then we did New Year's Day. Community. I fucking really liked this.
I probably put up with it a little bit more because it was hilarious to see Ray Palmer going out of his mind.
Yeah, no, I actually thought it
Or
was
Superman.
I thought it was
Depending
good.
on what you're looking
I thought it was a good psychological. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
it
have
was
really
an
put it. I
interesting-
wouldn't have called it horror. I would have called it more of a psychological thriller.
Yeah, basically what happens if
Which
you...
is horror now, evidently.
What happens if you move into a very, 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 very preordained Stepford community, whereby every single individual has a place and the entire community has a certain set of values and a certain view
I believe it's pronounced values.
Values?
Values. Same as the vampire.
No.
No,
you're
talking
that
crazy.
That's not how that works.
You're talking crazy.
That's wrong. Anyway, certain set of values, and more importantly, a certain view on how certain social laws should be enforced. Anyway, this nice happy couple decide that they are looking for a new home so that they can start a family. They are advised
Having
not...
failed at a family on several occasions, we should add.
Hell, they just...
Well, there was a couple of...
No, they're living in an environment that isn't suited to bringing up a kid.
And there was a Miss C that gets mentioned.
No, she thought that she was pregnant at the start and she wasn't. That's what it...
No, I think there was a Miss C.
Well, whatever.
But she was talking with her lady friends.
Well, look...
Anyway, regardless, go on.
They're living in an environment which isn't... They don't want to be trying to raise a kid in. So they want to move somewhere else so that they can then try and actually legitimately try and have a family. Their friends tell them about this community that they were thinking about moving to themselves, but which they were put off because they're all up their own arseholes. And, well, basically they decided to give it a shot. So it turns out it is, like I said, a very much planned community.
Say
so,
up their own arseholes again.
Up their own arseholes?
Yeah. It's good in the deep voice.
Okay. Anyway. They meet with a representative of the community who is basically not only willing to front them money for a house, is not only able to tell them that they suit a specific role within the community, but is willing to front them money for the house in order for them to move into the community.
Under a specific set of contractually
I was
obliged
just about to
conditions.
say there is a massive contract which the idiots never fucking look at before signing because they're fucking
Because it's such a
idiots.
great house and such a great location, and if we have kids, they're going to be so happy here. And that was Ray. You should have heard the wife.
Read the fine fucking print.
You
or in this
always
case,
read the fine print.
Or in this case, read the blatantly fucking obvious print. Because if you look back, when they actually look at the contract,
it's pretty
it's
straightforward.
glaringly obvious. It's right there, but the morons never looked at it. So all of a sudden, they're trapped into this house whereby they have to drop a sprog within 6 months.
61 episodes today. I forgot to mention that.
Holy schnitfuckers.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Sorry, I just saw a thing there, so I just felt to mention it.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, they're locked into a contract in this house whereby they have to drop a sprog every 6 months, which is all well and good, except that they can't get up to duff. So there's little quandaries about whether or not they're going to lose the house. And then that's
Is it
going to
stress? Is Ray... Oh, no, his name's not fucking Ray. What's his name?
in this episode, I can't remember.
Yeah, Ray Palmer's in my head now, sorry.
These things are then exacerbated by the fact that one of their neighbours has gotten piss-ass drunk and basically made it sound like they're trapped wherever the fuck they are.
Yes, made it sound like...
Yeah. Which is then enforced when they discover...
And it takes a lot for me to do that.
Which is reinforced when they then discover that one of their TV stations is actually... Well, CCTV cameras of whoever's doing something that might be going against the community or
His
whatever.
name was Bobby.
Bobby.
His name was Bobby.
Bobby.
Nope. No.
You're not going to make it through RoboCop.
No. I also probably... it also means that I'm not a dragon. Yeah.
I don't remember a dragon named Bobby.
I'm sure there's one. If dragons are real. Are we going to talk about the Dragon Lady? No,
Ro-
because if we talk about the Dragon
Golden
Lady, we'll
Child.
get lit on fire.
No, Golden Child.
Golden Child?
Dragon Lady and Golden Child.
We can talk about that Dragon Lady. The other thing she's on about, no, I don't think you and I are sensitive enough to be able to handle that online.
Dragon Lady?
You know what we're on about.
Chinese.
No. Well, I'll fill you in. You knew what we were on about an hour ago. What? It's not. We're doing horror. We're not. doing
that! Yeah, that's. Yeah, no.
Leave it out.
Anyway, back to the community. Like we said, it's Stepford community gone insane, whereby if you don't fulfill the exact specific standards,
Contractually
that they
obligated
want-
standards. Like
Which-
legally, they're actually.
I know. They were idiots. They should have read the fucking.
Yeah. Their friends,
even a
their
fine
friend
print.
/ lawyer or something, or a criminal.
He
or
was a
whatever.
bigger idiot.
Yeah, no, but he was like, "Why the fuck did you not? Why did you sign this in the first place?
It's a blatant
and B,
breach of
what-
civil liberties, but you
signed
signed
it.
it, you
Yeah, yeah.
idiot.
Yeah.
That was the one part where I went, thank you.
I could have fucked them up the bum legally if you hadn't signed the paper.
But you did, you
It's
freaking
like if you-
moron.
it's like when you-
so
it's
now
like
when you fuck up, they get to take
It's
your
like when you-
appendages and you can't say
It's like
diddly
when you
squat.
sign the image release contract to go on Fear Factor, and then you're like, "Oh, I don't want to eat the donkey dicks." Well, you kind of, they've done it. Or was it bull dick? I can't remember. There's been so many different kinds of dick on the show. Fear Factor. You remember Fear Factor? Joe Rogan.
I didn't bother.
How did you not watch it? It's amazing what people do for money. Not a lot of money either.
Because I've never enjoyed humour that's based on the premise that people are fucking morons, because that's a blatantly obvious fact of life.
No, it's not humor. It's done like an actual sports show.
But the whole
like-
entertainment point of it is that you're laughing at these freaking idiots.
No, I don't think it's laughing. It's more that you're like,
That's not entertainment.
is a.
No, it's
Kind of.
not.
Well, it plays the God.
The
I
only
didn't
time
think we were going to go into
stupidity.
Fear Factor.
Hang on. The only time stupidity is entertainment is when you physically are drunk enough to think that somebody else's stupidity is entertaining, because you're drunk, they're drunk, they've done
I watched
something
it sober,
stupid.
and I was like, I cannot believe she's eating that. I don't care how much money they give me, although it is like 100 grand. Would I eat a donkey dick for 100 grand?
Do you know what I did when I saw that thing come on sober? Oh, look, Fear Factor. Now to put on something that's actually worth watching. Hey, violence.
Okay. That's good. I can hear us in the background.
Yeah, studio audience.
Studio audience.
Anyway, on to the next episode, which I tried to talk about a while ago because I'm a fucking idiot and didn't realize it was the wrong episode.
Skin and Bones.
Yeah.
Doug Jones had not his finest, but not a terrible performance by any means.
Doug Jones, is that the skin and Pete Hodder is the name. Sorry. Pete Hodder is the character that I'm always going to associate the character
Doug
Rowdy.
Jones, he's the guy like with the hands.
Okay,
from
but who?
Pan's Labyrinth. The guy with the eyes.
Abe Sapien?
He's also Abe Sapien, yeah. Doug Jones.
All right.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Doug Jones is the farm boy.
Okay. But who's the other guy?
Which other guy?
Rowdy. The guy with the leg brace. I'm always going to call him Pete Hodder because he played Pete Hodder in The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
I
Briscoe.
will find out for you. I can't
He's
remember.
actually in a fuck ton of stuff as well. Okay. Like I tried to say to you a while ago, what happens when you're a dumbass motherfucker that goes off into the mountains for days on end and then wanders back down out of the countryside barely
John
alive?
Piper Ferguson.
Yay, John Ferguson.
JPF.
He's awesome.
Yes.
He's actually in a fuck ton of stuff. Anyway, Doug Jones does a fantastic job of playing
Grady Edlund.
I was going to say this emaciated creature that has come down out of the mountains after 10 days of actually longer.
It's longer. They're gone for a good
Yeah,
while.
they're gone for like the bones of a month nearly.
Yeah, he's a missing.
Yeah, himself
And I
and a
think
bunch-
it's forest.
What?
I think it's forest, not mountains.
Oh, mountain.
Mountain. Okay.
Himself and a bunch of other boys went up the mountain. He came back down.
Himself and one guy, I think.
No, he came back down.
No, himself and one guy.
No, there was a couple others.
Was there?
Yeah, there was definitely a group.
I'm pretty sure it was one guy, and then he eventually died from exhaustion, and then...
They definitely said a group.
Okay, cool. No worries.
Anyway, Grady comes back down completely emaciated, nothing but literally skin and bone. Looks
Hence the name.
and looks very much feral.
and not happy.
Is instantaneously thrown into a fucking bed rest situation because clearly.
Well, he looks fucked.
Yeah,
he looks fucked.
There's no way he's getting up because he's
ghoulish would be the word.
He's all weak and tired and fucked up.
Like
there ain't no way he's gonna do nothing.
Imagine zero muscle mass.
Worse than me, and then all of a sudden horses start dying.
Loads of horses
in the middle of the night because it turns out there's some kind of wild predator.
In the middle of the night.
That's in the jungle, you muppet.
I'm walking in my sleep.
That's not a Wimbaway. A Wimbaway is in the jungle, the mighty jungle. The lion sleeps tonight.
Okay, whatever. In the middle of the night, lion sleeps tonight. It all rhymes.
No, 2 different songs.
Oh boy.
One of them now. Oh, you motherfucker! Fuck you! Excuse me, folks. Ah!
My neck is too thick for you to choke.
Oh,
too thick for you to choke. Too thick for you to choke.
No, it's not.
Oh, my neck is too
anyway,
thick for you to choke. You only have little hands.
Have you seen Smeagol?
Yes.
Dirty habits. They messed with my precious.
Small but strong.
Yes.
My life is quite.
You can't get your hands around my neck, is what I'm saying.
I don't need to.
Okay.
You actually don't need to.
I know. I was just saying you wouldn't get your hands around my neck.
I don't need. I just need there and there.
Okay.
I'm aware. Can we get back to the episode unless, proving my potential guilt in a future court summons?
Proving. You're assuming.
If I've just told them that I know how to do it using these fucking...
You're assuming that I'm going to be murdered.
I'm not talking about you, dumbass! Fuck's sake. Anyway, Skin and Bones, Grady Edlund
now
is
to only go for skinny neck people so you can get your reach the whole way around.
My point was that I didn't need to worry about that because I knew how to do it regardless.
Rope.
Oh, I'm just gonna cut your fucking head off. What?
Belt.
Yeah, belt. Anyway, Skin and Bones.
Skin and Bones by
Grady Edlund is quite literally the Wendigo because he went up into that mountain and the spirit of cannibal thingy that gets into you when you're all weak and lonesome and at your most vulnerable time to him.
You know the way you want to live and your friend is pretty much dead anyway. You might as well eat his ass. Eat his ass and live. Consume his power, consume his might.
Because he tastes like chicken.
Chicken, baby.
So, yeah.
I can shoot laser beams out of my eyes and bench press a car. Wendigo.
Bench press a car, maybe shoot laser beams out of his eyes. I don't know.
If you go with the Wendigo from the other movie,
who
seems to have brought in a larger loop of powers than
he never used laser beams out of his eyes.
Yeah, true, but I could see him doing it. He did enough freaky deaky shit that laser beams.
Just because Robert Carlyle is fantastic as an insane person doesn't mean that you're going to shoot fucking laser beams out of his eyes.
Either, you fucking idiot.
Fuck. I don't call
Why
that
would that movie live in your head?
Okay, do you want to know what the problem is?
He eats humans and develops superpowers.
Wendigo. I associate Wendigo with an outland spirit.
That's fair enough, because that's what it is.
Eater is set in a fucking urban environment.
He's not from an urban environment, though.
Yes, he is!
No, he's not.
He's not from an urban heritage.
No, he lives out in the bayou. They had to go out in the middle of nowhere to get him.
Fuck. Skin and Bones.
Police station. Fuck. In town. His little...
Moving on! Fuck off!
Man hutch or whatever. In the bayou, the mighty bayou.
Occasion skins you now.
Yep. That's good. Anyway, that was good. Anyway, Grady's been brought in by the family. They've tried to figure out what's wrong with him. He's been fucked up and can't talk, so they brought him up to bed and let him have a lie down. They go to let him have a lie down. He goes to have a lie down. They wake up in the morning. Loads of horses with the ass eaten off him. Anyway, I think we're caught up to where we were.
Yeah, one of the ranch hands isn't a fair idea what's going on because he's an old Indian and he's kind of like, you know what's after happening here? Fucking Wendigo. Happened to my uncle. We had to put that motherfucker down. Guess what's going to happen here? You're going to have to put this motherfucker down.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't take them long to figure out who it is.
Sure, it all goes pear-shaped.
Yeah, all goes pear-shaped because it turns out he's pretty powerful.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty powerful. Might look like shit. He doesn't move like shit by any means whatsoever.
Skin and Bones sticks out over the course of the series just because it is
bloody.
Yeah, and because Doug Jones does a fantastic job at just. You know what he is. You know what he is. But he just does such a great job of making you for that split second think that maybe he actually is this weak, feeble creature incapable of doing anything.
But even when he tries to fool people later on, where he tries to go back to the human side.
It's too late then, but
no, but I mean, he still manages to. You'd half buy it if you hadn't been watching the movie. And
if you hadn't clearly seen him like rip the throat out.
If you had just driven up and he'd be like, "Hey there, Joe, how are you? Hey, Grady, you seem to be covered in a lot of blood there. Oh, just out cutting cows, whatever. Come on in. We'll have a chat. It'll be okay. I'll clean myself up. Nash.
People are stupid enough to fall for that one.
Nash, not me. Bat in the head. I'll tell you what. I'm going to knock you out, tie you to a chair. And when you come to, then you can explain to me where all the blood came from. How about that? There we go. If your answer is acceptable, you get out of the chair. If not, it's chair time for you, buddy. That's it.
Yeah.
The family eventually, after talking to the Indian, realised... the family eventually... I was doing my comedy insert and letting you go back to it. The family eventually, after talking to the Native American guy, realised that they're going to have to put old Grady down, and they send Rowdy up to put Grady down. And his brother, because he's the only man in the house, bar the sons.
No, I think they're actually brothers.
Yeah, I'm saying why he had to go up and kill him.
Oh, right, sorry.
His brother, and he had to kill him because he was the only man in the house, and B, because he's his brother. And it's kind of the thing you do. So Grady hobbles his leggedy ass up there. There's a bit of an exchange between them. I won't get into the ins and outs of it in case you decide to go watch it, because it's relatively integral to the...
Actually, yeah, to be honest, Skin and Bones, as we were saying, does stick out as being one of the better episodes in the series because of the way this played out, because of the pacing, because of, quite frankly... what? Because of, quite frankly, Doug Jones' excellent performance as going from this disheveled, emaciated creature to being something that you genuinely believe is fully capable of ripping the throat out of anything that gets in his way. And that's kind of the point, really, because vicious Wendigo. Vicious.
I thought the colour grading in it was really cool. Music was pretty good. I really liked the exchange between him and the wife in the kitchen. I thought that was wicked.
Oh, the cooking up the meal, yeah.
And all the shit in the barn was relatively cool as well. They're all, like, as I said earlier, they're all visually fucking great. Alright, so we got a little clip Reno here from Skin and Bones with the scene that I was just telling you about. Where Grady's getting ready to kill Rowdy's getting ready to kill old Grady.
Oh, yeah, great scene.
You see? I'm so hungry. I can't help it, Rowdy. Please. Help me, brother. I don't know how to help you. Well, that works out just fine for you then, doesn't it?
What's that supposed to mean?
You've always wanted to get rid of me.
No, you got it wrong, brother.
So you could have everything I worked for.
That's not how it is.
Everything I care about. Well, I hope you're happy now, brother.
Forgive me, Grady. It's over.
We're back. Okay, we saw in the comments feed while the trailer was on that Byrne mentioned he needs a ham sandwich.
He ate 3 fucking people, Byrne!
He ate 3 people in the last 30 days. That's a fucking...
And a horse!
And a horse. That's a couple of £100 of meat in the last 30 days. It's kind of a Wendigo thing that you look emaciated. Because that was great. It was like, he ate a ham sandwich. He ate fucking 3 fucking people. Which is true. He did. Yeah. He did. Next up, which is our personal favourite.
Yeah! Something with bite.
Something with bite.
This is just fucking brilliant.
Great performance by Wendell Pierce.
Thank you. That's Wilbur Orville, yeah?
Wilbur Orville. Yeah.
Oh, man, this... Okay. So, here's the story, right? Wilbur Orville is a vet with a fairly tasty-looking wife.
She's, as Pam so aptly put earlier, she was like, she did well after having the baby.
Yeah.
She pulled it back together very quickly, I will say.
Yeah. A somewhat slovenly disposition himself.
I
somewhat absent-minded.
I feel it's more, he's just become so detached from life. He just kind of trundles through the fucking day. And as I said in the article...
Now here's the thing though. He's fucking brilliant at his job.
He's really good at his job.
I mean, fucking, as a vet, he is
what I liked,
fantastic.
What I liked was it opens up with this breakfast scene. And in the in the space of the 2 or 3 minutes of the breakfast scene, it's done very well to the point that you really get a good gist of who all the characters are within the family. Like you realise he's totally just trundling through the day. He literally spills the entire contents of a jelly donut down the front of his shirt, and he just turns to Oliver and he's like, I can wear that to work, right? He's like, Mum's not going to let you wear that to work.
She's going to kill you. I'll be fine. What are the animals going to care?
Yeah, although I did say that I was like, I'm wearing a veterinary jacket. If I'd known he was a vet at the time, I would have been like, I'll speak to you. And some dog's probably going to shit me during the course of the day.
It's not the point though, it's the wife kind of going,
yeah. Well, the wife's very prim and proper. She's got that real 1950s housewife vibe. Even what she says to him after they have the wolf sex. Do you know, she's like, oh, the things you did to me, daddy. It was totally like, it was like,
very Betty Boopish.
Yeah, it was very like, oh, daddy-o. I was like, shit, yeah.
Anyway, Wilbur is, like we said, despite his a couple of flaws, doing fairly well in life and is very fucking good at his job.
Yeah.
So when one of the local lads comes in after hitting an unknown and very fucking large animal,
we're going to say gorilla or orangutan.
Bear, they were saying at first, maybe.
Yeah. Well, after incidents later on, he suddenly swaps.
Wilbur is quick off the shot himself, and assistant Michaela, who is
Patty McHutterson, played by Kayleen C. Michaela Kumpula.
Oh, she has a second name. I didn't realise that. I just never.
You'll find they usually give people second names.
Not always in stories. Sometimes they're only given their first names, depending on whether or not their second name may or may not be relevant. Anyway, they go and treat this unknown animal which has gotten a slap of a car. Unfortunately, while treating it, A, it dies, but B, before it does, it kind of bites Wilbur.
It gives Wilbur a good old
yeah,
right in the arm. Then he has to do a very large injection into his belly balls.
Oh man, the tetanus injection.
Yeah, the face on him as he does it, he's like,
can you blame him?
Oh no, I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying that
I don't think I'd have the balls to do that to myself.
I'm just saying, I thought like he just kind of goes cross-eyed and is like,
like I said, man, fair dues. I don't actually think I'd be capable of doing that to myself.
He won't eat the ham sandwich, Byrne. He wants to eat a human. Although, if you chopped up some human ham,
he's eaten 3 people and a horse.
He's still hungry though.
Yes, he's always hungry because he's a Wendigo.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe she's right. Metabolism.
Yeah.
He is ridiculously
bread,
strong and fast.
And bread fills you up. So maybe like if he started slicing people up and
Hang
doing
on.
man sandwiches.
Dude, purely metabolism.
Instead of ham, it'd be mam.
Purely metabolism. He's freaking fast and strong. That would burn up a lot.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, back to
big ham sandwich. Yeah.
Back to something with bite.
That sounds like you were slagging the other movie.
Which one?
It's just because of the title. It was like, okay, back to something with bite, as if the Wendigo movie.
No,
didn't
but it
have
was
bite.
hilarious that one followed the other.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. Anyway, as we
actually,
said,
all the Wendigo-y people turning into animals that bite the fuck out of people are all within 4 episodes. There's only one in the gap.
1, 2, there's 2. New Year's Day and Community.
Oh yes, I forgot about Community.
Anyway, as we were saying, Wilbur gets nipped on the arm, and then the following day,
Not nipped, he gets chomped. Not off.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking for a specific name here.
I know it all.
There we go.
George Booza.
Who, for me, is always going to be a legend because he voiced...
Who plays Crane Dugdale.
And he voiced the original Beast in the 1990s X-Men cartoon and played a trucker in the first live-action X-Men movie that drops Rogue off to Laughlin City where she meets Wolverine.
Yeah.
And was also a badass Santa in Christmas Nightmare.
Christmas Nightmare. A Nightmare Story. Or
The
a
one
Christmas,
with-
a Christmas Horror Story.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, he was the badass Santa.
Yeah,
in
which
that.
we covered on our TV show, on American Horrors.
Exactly.
Plug.
But anyway, Crane Douglas and his missus come along to claim the body
His
of...
missus, who is played by Gillian Barber. Moonflower. Moonflower Dugdale.
come along to claim the body of their beloved animal,
Friend.
Michael. Animal.
Michael.
No, animal.
Animal
They
friend.
they actually say our beloved
Animal.
Michael, who Wilbur had noticed to tag Michael.
Yeah.
So they claim the body. Michael, Wilbur eventually capitulates and gives them the body. And
Wilbur tries to explain that legally he's not allowed to handle off an
but they're
animal that big.
clearly distraught. It is clearly
super upset.
Clearly, this creature meant
Yeah.
a lot to them.
Some would say overly upset.
Some would say it might have even familial ties.
Although I won't lie to you, if the Hellhound died, I'd be pretty good at it.
True.
Yeah.
Anyway, they take this thing away, and that's all well and good.
Wilbur goes home.
Yeah.
He's got his feet up.
We are the whole way through the episode being constantly given reminders of animal attacks which are happening in the vicinity, whereby some unknown large creature is mauling people.
Yeah. Well, the news are saying it's animal attacks. The detective is saying it was not. Stands on 2 legs.
The detective,
could be a gorilla.
Yeah, the detective that's looking into it would eventually pay Wilbur a bit of a visit.
Yeah.
Wilbur, unfortunately, at this stage, is starting to realise that there might have been something a little bit more to that bite than he thought.
Wilbur's already been out for a romp with the missus and a romp in the werewolf.
She was very satisfied with the romp.
What I liked is because where ordinarily on TV shows and some movies where the CGI, because bear in mind this was 2008, so like the CGI wasn't as mind blowing as it is now. But no, it would have been acceptable back then. But I think they handled the werewolf transformations in this tastefully. Like with the silhouettes and stuff, and then it came to the werewolf's head coming up.
Actually, it was later on the practical effects that had me kind of going, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, he's a badass looking werewolf, and I really liked when he wakes up after having his first night on the ramp, and it's got the werewolf tracks coming into the room, and they slowly turn to man's feet as he gets to the bed.
He's after walking through muck or something like that, and yeah, that's cool.
Muck or shit or organs or...
This episode does a fantastic job of basically showing you what it would be like to live within society while still being a werewolf. And
it does go
more importantly
against the grain with some of the conventional werewolf
doesn't.
rules.
No,
it does a little bit.
It doesn't. It actually doesn't. And here's why, right?
Well, in this,
turns
if you're not a killer...
Yeah, exactly my point.
Okay.
That's actually... No, that is exactly my point. That's how it doesn't go
There's
against the grain.
also loads of...
When you look at the werewolf mythology, the whole idea is that it's the inner subconscious that comes to light, the id.
There's also loads of surgical tools and stuff inside in these veterinary places that would have silver alloy and everything in it. It'd be a pretty bad place for werewolves to work. Some silver stuff. Anyway.
None of that is at any point relevant.
Okay, anyway, go on.
What is relevant, and what I think is one of the main points of this entire fucking story, is at one point Crane turns around to Wilbur and says, Wilbur is worried that perhaps he's responsible, or maybe Crane, Moonflower, or Michael, the deceased Michael, are responsible for the animal attacks that are happening. Crane informs them, no, it's not us, it wasn't him, and it's probably not you either, because if you're a good person, you're going to be a good dog. Implying, well, no, it goes back to one of the older theologies in regards to werewolves, whereby it's not so much a bestial form as it is the human's inner id coming out, the suppressed needs, the subconscious, all the things that one might theoretically associate with the animalistic nature of humanity coming to the forefront.
Yeah.
Now, if all of that comes out and it's still at its core a good creature, as in, yeah, you might be willing to kill under the right reasons, you might be willing to hunt for the right reasons, you're going to protect before you're going to go out and destroy. All these things can be contributed to, while still being bestial, can still be contributed to being good-natured in their own way. So with that in mind, the werewolf is just all of that coming to the forefront that we might have in the back of our heads. Therefore, good man, good dog.
Okay. It's not the conventional werewolf story, though.
Yeah, it is.
Cinematically.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Most werewolves, they go wolfy and then they go...
Well, no, actually.
You do see some of them go good.
Anytime you have what one can consider a good person becoming a werewolf, they tend to be a good dog.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway.
As we were saying, something with Bite stands out as being one of the better episodes in the season, mainly because it takes the werewolf bit, and not only does it not waste our time with endless meandering, as in whether or not he's actually a wolf or all this crap, but it gets straight to the point, and it's humorous about it. It allows us to enjoy things, and it allows us to kind of have a happy ending again, I suppose, is the best way of putting it, because at the end of the day, Wilbur comes to terms with what he is, and situation is what the situation is, and fuck it, life is good at the end of the day. Especially when you go running around as a wild beast that's more than willing and able to satisfy your hot wife. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Do we have a clip for something with Bite? Or?
Yeah, we do. I'll just put it up here. The clip for something with Bite is there's a really funny montage scene when you're first introduced to Wilbur in the veterinary office, as he's kind of trundling through his day, and he's kind of just listening to the dogs, and he's diagnosing. And I feel there's a little bit of self-psychology being diagnosed into the dogs as well, because it's like chippy indigestion, erectile dysfunction.
I think it's
generally depressed.
I think coincidentally you might be right.
Constipated, hemorrhoids. He was like hemorrhoids.
Erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, it was literally stomach problems, erectile dysfunction, and hemorrhoids back to back. But anyway, the scene that we are playing is the latter one, where he comes in as the werewolf and all of his senses are a little more heightened. And as I like to call it, it's very Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah,
but
it was the first start as well. As I said, he was very good at what he did.
He was good. I just feel that he was self-projecting, would have been the word a little. Well, how much of the hopping of the wife was he doing before he was wolfed up? She was lacking in the nether and the better.
It really,
regions.
one of the scenes was very reminiscent of Married with Children.
Oh, Al.
Peg, no!
No, Peg.
Oh, we find a new tech. How do you feel about assisting me?
I don't know. I don't know anything about.
Kayla, I'll teach you.
He swallowed 2 AAA batteries. We're gonna have to operate. Oh, she has a cracked rib. Yeah.
You know, the way you look at the animals, it's like, I don't know, it's like you're one of them.
I know.
So pretty.
Check on reception, please.
I didn't hear anything.
Humor an old man, Michaela.
There we go. Yeah, that was that. I think that's a really good example of it as well. There's this nice level of comedy and serious.
Yeah,
it's a nice blend.
Like we were watching the clip, and I was just saying that
very American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, but not the stuff that he was doing. How he was diagnosing the animals is similar to how he was doing it before he got bit. He's just like you said. I suppose he's maybe a little bit more in tune, but
I'm telling you, man. Look at the workings of his home life, and look at what he's diagnosing the dogs. Self-projecting.
Yeah, maybe. On to the next one, which was Chance, which I'm not going to lie.
I thought it was okay, but it's just Fight Club, except that the other half of them is useless compared to Tyler Durden.
I felt it was very much a variation from a certain point of view of Alison Looking Glass.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
Just what happens when you're presented with your darker doppelganger side, and how you interact with him if they were to come to real. Basically, this guy is put in a position whereby he thinks he's going to be getting money for a deal that he thought was getting sorted out. It turns out it's a scam, or he thinks it's a scam. He goes a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. His darker side quite literally manifests, thanks perhaps to a magical mirror, and he ends up whacking the guy that he thought was going to scam him, which unfortunately careens totally out of control.
No, the guy did scam him.
Yeah, but he wasn't. But it careens totally out of control, leading to further murders and a further spiral into almost this self-imposed madness. Once again, you're kind of left wondering: is it in his head? Is there actually another person? You're never actually sure because of the way the episode is played out, which theoretically would be a fantastic idea, but unfortunately, the pacing of the episode and just the way some of the stuff is done, it's kind of like, oh, come on, get on with it, fuck's sake. And I don't know, out of all the episodes, it probably would rank the lowest with me, I think.
It's down there.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of Echoes.
No, I thought Echoes was a bit better. We'll get onto that in a few minutes, but it was just with Chance. I don't know. It was just there was something about the episode.
It could be like I'm slightly biased because I really like. What's his name? 2 secs. I'm having a mind fart, as we say in Ireland.
Brain fart.
Ethan Embry. Really like him.
Oh, the main actor to play Chance?
Yeah. I just like him in general.
I've seen him in other stuff, and I've seen him quite often playing unstable characters, I suppose is the best way of putting it.
Oh, speaking of horror stuff, I just saw it there in the corner. What do you think of Jason Momoa as the new Crow?
What?
Bit of a weird one. Although, like, if you think about it, like, he's obviously not going to be picking up unless they're doing a reboot. Is it a reboot?
Oh, what, the Crow?
Yeah. Is he being?
I heard rumors about the Crow and about how they were going to go along and do Dan O'Bannon's original version of it. And to be perfectly honest, that was the point that I went, you know what? I'll pass. Because the Crow film was fantastic, but Dan O'Bannon's
comic I like the Crow comic books. I enjoyed them on the whole. Anyway, we won't dwindle too long on Chance because it's getting a little bit later than usual. And
suffice to say that it was, in comparison with the other episodes, perhaps a little bit lackluster for whatever reason I want to point out.
It did climax nicely, for me to put it.
You kind of saw it coming from like 2 miles away.
Oh, from the minute he starts talking to himself, you see it coming. You know, you might know exactly what conclusion is going to happen, but you know it's going to be one of 2 or 3 conclusions, and you're right. Yeah. That's the easiest way of putting it. It's relatively easy to anticipate.
Yeah.
Spirit Box. What was Spirit Box again?
Spirit Box was basically Nancy Drew.
Oh, yeah.
What happens when a young Wiccan girl and her buddy decide that they're going to use a spirit box, which is like something akin to a Ouija board, to contact a dead spirit? Perhaps her own mother, we're not quite sure. Well, apparently they'll end up contacting the spirit of a girl that was found drowned in a lake after texting her own suicide, but
texting her own suicide and then driving her car into a lake.
But it turns out she was actually moided.
Bum, bum,
Boom.
It was Moida.
Moida.
Which,
Moida.
naturally enough, sets the two girls off on an investigation. Fortunately,
Because that's what teenagers do.
Fortunately, one of the girls happens to be the daughter of the local law boy, so she's able to take a sneak peek at the official records and see that there were drugs in that girl's system.
She's also weaving black magic around the town like she's Sabrina.
She's not really.
She's attempting to weave black magic around the town like she's Sabrina.
They did one Ouija box thingy.
She's all Wiccan though.
Yeah, but she's not doing nothing else.
Yeah, I'm just trying to imply she's Wiccan, dude.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, things go really
pear-shaped.
Well, I was going to say creepy because the trail puts them onto one of the teachers who they suspect is probably after been doing stuff that he probably should not have been doing with these female.
He's been dropping the hand a little bit, so is what he's been doing.
Apparently, coaches have great fun with cheerleaders.
Have to help them with the stretches and
Yep.
the keeping the ligaments.
Make sure they're limber.
Limber ligaments.
Maybe I should have been a teacher.
You should have been a teacher.
Anyway, things unfortunately spiral when the girls are apparently being attacked by the very apparition that seems to want them to solve her murder.
Yeah.
In some kind of bid to encourage them to solve the murder faster.
I'm going to kill you if you don't find out who killed me. Well, I know who killed me. You need to find out who killed me so you can tell everyone else who killed me and thus put my spirit to rest.
There's some very good paranoia-inducing moments over the course of this episode.
Yeah.
And
swimming pool scenes were particularly exhilarating.
Yeah, and
that sounded bad because they were scary.
Yeah. The whole mystery aspect of it does make you kind of go, well, what's going on here? What's the next turn? But at the same time, unfortunately, once again, just because of the way certain characters are written, you think you know where it's going to go. And as a result, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on. And then when the twist finally does occur, you're like, for fuck's sake. Really?
How did I not?
Motherfucker.
How did I not see it?
And it kind of annoys you.
Yeah.
And then the
because that one got me as well. And I'm usually, as you know, pretty nifty.
As am I.
Yeah. I'm usually 10 minutes into a movie like, did it? You know, and no, the twist at the end of this now was like, fucking insert expletive that's appropriate to any representative gender because I don't want to say.
But it does still have a satisfying ending.
Oh, it's a tasty ending.
Indeed.
Happy.
Perhaps not completely 100%, wrapped up in a nice little silver bow. But you still
But they at least put it in a silver swan so you could take it home.
You at least feel a bit good about yourself when you see the
Spirit
ending.
Box was alright. I like that.
Yeah. Echoes is next up. I liked Echoes just because it was an interesting take on the notion of reincarnation.
Yeah, okay, I'll accept that. I just thought he just bugged the shit out of me.
Okay.
Present him, not past him. Past him was fine.
Okay. This dude, Steve, moves into a house. And the second he moves in, he starts having, like, visions, hallucinations, dreams.
Premonitions, who the fuck knows?
Well, they're not premonitions because that implies he's seeing stuff before it happens.
Yes, well, he wasn't talking to Shrink at the time, so there could have been premonitions. He was not to know.
Everything about them clearly was set in the 1930s. That's not a premonition.
Could be like...
That is a view of the past.
Could be like Firefly, where it's the future, but it's also the past. Kind of. Do you know, as in like, it's the Wild West, but it's got spaceships, but it's still got horses. You know? They could have looked like it was 1950s.
She was dressed as a flapper.
I'll flap you in a minute. What do you call me? What?
I'm not calling you anything.
I'm joking, my friend. I'm joking.
Anyway, as I said, the minute Stephen moves into this...
The
minute Stephen moves into this house, he starts having...
that one. You do it too high. It's a whole different thing.
I thought it was...
No. I think they were like, you need to make sure you keep it fucking below chest level.
Whatever.
Bucko.
The minute Stephen moves into this house, he starts having visions, dreams, premonitions, which are basically him seeing a representation of his friend Karen, who in these visions looks like this blonde 1930s flapper named Zelda.
Zelda Fleming.
And he himself is seeing himself as a guy named Max, who clearly looks...
Who's played by Eric Balfour.
Who clearly looks like a 1930s fucking greaser, for want of a better term. Someone that you don't want to meet.
If he was in like a boxcar named Desire or something, he'd be one of those guys with the hat and the...
and a switchblade.
Yeah.
Which he has anyway.
Yeah.
Because,
he's that kind of chap. If you look him up on IMDb, if you look at his facial hair, he has the facial hair every time you go, like, oh, he has a switchblade.
Yeah. Stephen, no doubt, a little bit perturbed by these visions, goes to see a shrink. And while under hypnosis, basically
taps into his past.
Yeah, and completely becomes Max.
Yeah.
Like
a door is opened and Max walks through, basically.
The psychiatrist records the sessions and the voice, everything changes. He's a completely
Which,
different person.
in the defense of the psychiatrist, initially he was, or not in the defense of the, shun the psychiatrist. He was only having the, daydreams or whatever of it initially. Then he did the hypnosis. Then he got possessed by Max.
It was happening anyway. The longer he stayed in that house, the more it was going to happen.
Yeah, but I think the shrink should feel somewhat responsible.
As the story progresses, Max becomes more and more part of Stephen's psyche, becoming less and less about being in a dream state, more manifesting himself.
And the intro I wrote for the show, I was like, what is fear? And did a little dictionary description comparative to what the guys did in this.
Yeah.
Regardless, anyway. Rob Way just commented, fear is being stuck in traffic and just realising I had 2 bran muffins and a cup of coffee. Poopy, poopy, poo, poo, poopy, poopy, poo.
Okay.
Just thought I'd point that out. I like that. It made me giggle.
Anyway. As the episode goes on, Max manifests himself more and more during Stephen's
tits up.
More and more during Stephen's waking hours, shall we say. Which leads to numerous altercations with...
Puff pass. It's for glaucoma.
What the fuck?
Because without I could get more good. Continue. It's fine.
Can you bring up the IMDb thingy again? Because I've forgotten the name of one of the characters because we keep getting sidetracked.
That's the first sidetrack, dude. In this one.
Over the course of the episode, Maxwell's personality comes out more and more, and as a result, ends up conflicting with Karen, which reminds Maxwell obviously of Zelda, to the point that Stephen begins to fear for Karen's very life, because at the end of the day,
he's gonna kill her.
Yeah, most of these visions lead to Zelda dying
or nearly getting stabbed.
Most of these visions lead to a bloody scene involving Zelda. There's also various scenes that...
In the defense of Maxwell, in some of the later scenes, Zelda's a bit of a bunny boiler.
I was just about to say, some of these scenes would repeat themselves when both Karen and apparently Zelda
and a sort of
flounced themselves around with characters that could be seen as being threats to Stephen and Max.
Chances. Well, Max is keeping her.
I was going to say Stephen and Max respectively. Which invariably leads to Maxwell's more violent side taking over in both circumstances, and both of these rivals getting a hocking and potentially a knifing.
Stabbity stab, stab, stab.
Yeah, things inevitably come to the front when Max and Stephen's personalities become a little bit too entwined, and it's also kind of hinted that perhaps Karen...
They just become...
It's also hinted that perhaps Karen and Zelda's personalities have become intertwined. Because she makes some statements
they do lines that are running very similar to what happens at the end.
She makes some statements that kind of... There's stuff that she says that would lead you to believe that she's as much a reincarnation of Zelda as Stephen was of Maxwell.
Just what she just said.
She states that she was waiting all of her life to meet Stephen.
Yeah.
The same way that he was.
I said they say very, very similar lines during scenes.
Oh, yeah.
It all unfolds, and then your man has a bit of a mental breakdown, and there's pulverizing a foot. And then last one, that's pretty much it with Echoes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then last one is The Circle, which was entertaining but confusing.
It was the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, but it wasn't the Mouth of Madness. Oh, we won't get
but
into
it
this
was.
Again.
No, it was the Mouth of Madness mixed with the Ghostbusters Extreme episode that was based on the Mouth of Madness. Wherein the only way they could solve the episode was to rewrite the story.
Yeah, but him rewriting the story actually ended up playing nowhere into the conclusion of the episode.
His attempt.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, it did play into the conclusion, because wasn't him rewriting the story what led to the loop?
No, I think your one ended up rewriting the story. He was dead in a chair.
I don't know, I was half cut by the time that end of the episode came
You
out.
were all cut by the fucking episode came out.
People arrived early. I missed the last 10 minutes of the
Yeah.
episode. By the time I got back to it, I was half.
He had an unfortunate case of
siege.
No, you had an unfortunate case of siege. He had an unfortunate case of the Blackie Goozies.
Oh, yeah.
Tied to a chair, do you remember?
The Circle is a prime example of meta horror, wherein the characters are.
I like that.
The characters are basically their own narrative, or the narrative itself encapsulates the characters that are representing the narrative.
They initially start off like a normal movie, and then as things unfold, they end up becoming self-aware of what's going on because they've actually written the plot of what's going on, and then it ends up being the celestial loop. Yeah. Actually, you can nearly call that a description. That's it.
It's meta horror.
Meta horror. Some people die, some people don't die. There's a black goop that's trying to invade the house. I'm assuming it's his writer's block.
No, it's supposed to be from one of his previous books.
Oh, okay.
Once again, I was unable to concentrate, I should say, on the entire end of it. So as a result, there was a part of it that I think we glossed over, which might have given us an explanation. That was at the very start. You had that witch's coven that created the first.
Yeah, but all that happened in the witch's coven were some girls were out trick or treating. The blondie witch comes out, brings them in, and they do a spell.
Hang on, that's what it was. The witch's coven. Your one that did the spell at the start.
Yeah.
Was an ex of the writer at the end. That was it. I think.
No, she said she had something to do with all of the pages in the book were written in blood, and it has to do something. I think he made some pact with her to get him fucking famous or something.
It was her name.
Yeah.
He was writing under a pseudonym that happened to be her actual name.
What?
He was writing under a pseudonym, Robbie Collins.
Yeah.
Which happened to be the witch's actual name.
Right.
And she took umbrage with that, I think.
She said she basically took full credit for his first book. And she said she made him famous.
Dude, I was fucking... We were all talking. I was half cut. I couldn't hear that much of it, so I missed the end. So, yeah. As I was saying, The Circle is a prime example of meta horror wherein the characters themselves quite literally write their own destruction.
Yeah. It's got Jonathan Schlach playing Brian, who's the troubled author who's had one very big famous book, as I said. Then he's been paid a substantial amount of money to write another book, and he's having what they would call a case of the writer's block for numerous amount of months now. I think 6. Yeah, he's waiting. The investor's waiting a long time to see his fucking change back. His girlfriend Lisa, played by Ashley Scott, is there as well. She brings him up to this cabin just to try and get him away and let him have a nice night and chill out and blah blah blah. And he's like, "This is just what I needed." Blah blah blah. Just as you get a knock on the door, and the knock on the door is her friend Anita, who's also, I think it's his publicist.
Yeah, basically his publicist, his editor, and his agent.
Yeah. They all show up at the house
because the missus invited them up because everyone's paranoid of the fact that he's got writer's block.
Yeah, and people are looking for their money. He's getting a bit humpy because he starts to realise what's going on. There's a knock on the door. Just some trick-or-treaters deliver a book, and they start reading the book, and then the book unleashes it's the witch has written the book, I think, and then they start reading the book, and then as they start reading the book,
they're trapped in the book.
The fiction of the book becomes the reality of reality. The reality of reality. There's a lot of transdimensional things that happen in relation to how all of this shit happens. But yeah, it was okay. Kept me in.
Sorry, trying to press buttons on this thing. It goes horribly wrong. No, I'm in settings.
I'd imagine because touchscreen would involve a lot of hand-eye coordination, cognitive body functions.
Shut up.
Targeting systems failed. Yeah, so that's pretty much. Was there anything else that substantially happened? No, there was no kind of particularly cool deaths in this. I did really like the. I liked when George, the editor guy. I liked when he got sucked out the fucking door. That was good. Good kill. The black goop is infectious, so if you get hit with the black goop, you become this black goop infested zombie. And there's just general
bloodthirster, they were calling them. They were calling them bloodthirsters.
Bloodthirsters, yeah. Oh, they're from the last book.
Yeah.
And then there's just some general witchiness. and then everything unfolds again. And then it all just...
Yeah, it's like a Groundhog Day situation.
Yeah, if you wanted to actually watch it in real time, just put on the episode on YouTube or something like that. Hit repeat. Make sure you find the version of the episode without the intro. Hit repeat and sit back.
Get stuck.
Sit back and watch a movie unfold endlessly. Right, that's fair stuff. Fuck, that was on.
Yeah.
Oh. Let's take my head off.
I know, but I thought you were going to say something else and then you
Sorry.
stopped talking.
Sorry, I said fuck, that was long, and then I went to take my head off, and then I turned it into a stretch, and I couldn't stop it. Sorry, you know how these things go.
Yeah.
That's for yourself. We will be back as our lovely friends over at On Court and places like that.
Yeah, we got a bunch of films to review. It's going to be great.
We've got some lovely screeners in, so we're going to be screening the shite out of some stuff and talking about them over the next couple of weeks.
Oh, crap.
I knew the hangover was going to come in. Sorry, I don't. I ordinarily would laugh at you in pain. I'll finish off the show myself, dude. It's okay.
I shook my head and that was what set it off.
It's okay. It's okay. Drink more of your Coke, buddy.
I think that's the problem.
Water. Drink. Okay, hydrate yourself. Drink more of
I
your
got
Coke.
it.
Okay, so as I was saying, we have a load of screeners in, so we're going to be going through some of the screeners next week, and that'll be pretty much it. General bit of chit-chatty about the news, and we're going to be heading back over on American Horror soon enough, so we'll be keeping you up to date on all of that kind of things. And other than that, for my hungover co-host and myself, we end with the final words of Gorecast. Oh.